the Honourable Mrs. Townshend and Mr. J.R. Townshend, trained by Michael Felton, ridden by F. Phillipston Stowe. Number 4, Dawn Supreme, owned by Mr. J. Hurd and trained by him, ridden by James Shaw, who will now be carrying 12 stone, 5 pounds. Number 6, Jewel in the Park, owned by the Always Broke Partnership, trained by Christopher Barber and ridden by E. Dodgerell. Over the page. Number 10, Meet Me at the Pillar, owned by John and Sonia Gardner, trained by Emma Summersby, ridden by Ryan Cochrane. Number 11, Milltown Bridge, owned by Mr. Stuart Jarrett, trained by Edward Walker, ridden by E. Vaughan, wearing blinkers. Number 14, Talamar Pearl, owned by Mr. D.R. Churches, trained by...
So we move on now, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lentils restricted race. The runners now on their way down to start, and the first out of the paddock was number 11, Milltown Bridge. Ridden by Mr. Ed Vaughan, and that's blue with the light blue hoops, and light blue hoops on the blue cap. In behind this comes Boys Will Be Boys, number 2, ridden by Mr. Frederick Phillipson Stowe, white with red hoops, white sleeves, red cap, red hoops with a black cap. In behind that one is number 4, Dawn Supreme, ridden by Mr. James Shaw, maroon with the yellow hoops, and armlets and a maroon cap. Then we see Talamar Pearl, number 14, ridden by Mr. Josh Newman, light green with the mauve diamonds, light green sleeves and cap. Following this one down is number 10, Meet Me at the Pillar, ridden by Mr. Ryan Corcoran, and red and blue diamonds with the red cap. And the final one to go down is number 6, Jewel in the Park, ridden by Mr. Red Doggerel, royal blue with the gold hoops, maroon sleeves and a royal blue cap. So 6 go to post, biggest field of the day. For this restricted, they are due away at 3:55. So we have about a minute until post time. So flag is up then, they're under orders, and quickly down then. So they step away from the start then for this restricted. 6 runners and riders, and they're all away from the start well, and making their way on down to the first then. And on the outside Meet Me at the Pillar, jumped up on the outer, up in the centre. We have Jewel in the Park, who looks to have just settled into a lead. Comes to the next Jewel in the Park with Boys Will Be Boys. On his outside, Talamal Powell is back in third, racing on the inside of Meet Me at the Pillar. Length back then to the inside of Milltown Bridge and Dawn Supreme, the back marker under James Shaw in these very, very early stages at the moment. This is the open ditch then for the first time. Boys Will Be Boys jumped that beautifully. Saw a lovely stride there. And jumped it well. So they passed the judge, 2 seconds ahead of them to race. Down to the bottom bend then, on the inside, Jewel in the Park, partnered by Ed Doggerel. Towards the first of the 4 in the back straight then, Boys Will Be Boys with a fractional advantage from the favourite Jewel in the Park. Gap of about 4 lengths then back to Meet Me at the Pillar, on the outside of Talamal Powell and on the inside Milltown Bridge. There are a line of 3 in the mid-division. The one that's just set off for them slightly is Dawn Supreme under James Shaw, a dual winner already this season at the Spooners meeting, and also dead heated at Trebudanon on Monday in the John Hurd colours. So they're making their way up to the final plain fence in the back straight this time. Leaders come to it now, Jewel in the Park out over safely at the head of affairs. And now they race up then to the top end of the course. 1 circuit almost complete. Boys Will Be Boys on the outside of Jewel in the Park. Length back then to Meet Me at the Pillar and Ryan Corcoran, who races on the outside of Talamal Powell and Josh Newman. So they pass their point of departure then, and 1 circuit complete as they make their way down to the first of these 4 fences, and they're all over that safely and continue on then to the next. Jewel in the Park on the inside of Boys Will Be Boys. Talamal Powell right at the inside now under Josh Newman. Dawn Supreme's now made a bit of progress to race up on the outside of Meet Me at the Pillar. This is the next then, and Boys Will Be Boys was the one that didn't get at all high at that, as they now take the ditch for the second and final time. And again, Boys Will Be Boys didn't get at all high at that, gave them guardrail a mighty whack. So they race restricted, and they begin their run up the back straight then. Boys Will Be Boys again jumps up on the outside of Jewel in the Park. Meet Me at the Pillar races nicely on the outside of Talamar Powell, and Dawn Supreme's got around about 3 lengths to make up on the main group then, just becoming slightly detached. They've bypassed that second plain fence in the back straight and making their way quickly on to the next end. Jewel in the Park, the favourite, comes to the next, jumped it well. Again, Boys Will Be Boys was low at that. Gave the guardrail another good clout as these four have gone clear of Don Supreme, who may well be being pulled up. So at the final one in the back straight then, Boys Will Be Boys is the one that's beginning to drop out the back. And up front it's Jewel in the Park now, joined by Meet Me at the Pillar. As they round the bend then, Jewel in the Park is 2 lengths clear. Talamar Powell's the one that's gone into second from Meet Me at the Pillar back in 3. Boys Will Be Boys hanging on in there under Freddie Phillipson Stowe back in 4th. So they're on the run into the home straight and back towards us then for the final time in this restricted, and they've had a decent gallop throughout. So up front, Jewel in the Park now being tackled by Talamar Powell on his outside. They come to the next then. This is 2 out, and out over they come. Jewel in the Park, Talamar Powell, Josh Newman on the outside. They're clear of Boys Will Be Boys, and Meet Me at the Pillars also dropped back into 4. So final fence coming up then for Jewel in the Park. He's out over safely. Talamar Powell in hot pursuit in second, but Jewel in the Park's going to be too good for him, I think. 3 or 4 lengths clear on the run to the line, and holds Talamar Powell back in second. And then we'll see Boys Will Be Boys and Meet Me at the Pillar finishes in 4th.
First past the post, number 6. Second, number 14. Third, number 2. Fourth, number 10.
I said we got there. We did. Back in there. They only took it one time. Took a long way home. Hello, Ed. Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now have the presentation for race 5. This is the Lentils restricted race.
Move the weight.
Past the post, number 6, Jewel in the Park. Owned by the Always Broke Partnership. Trained by Christopher Barber and ridden by Ed Dogrel. The Roof Wilmington Cup is presented by Lentils Accountants to the winning owner. A memento presented by Axwell Caravans, again winning owner. The winning jockey receives a Treehouse voucher presented by Higher Brooklands Farm. And the winning trainer receives a bottle of champagne, kindly donated by Fortis.
Yeah, come on.
Photo! Many thanks to our sponsors for their support.
That's why I'm standing in the way.
Don't you rush, we're waiting for a sponsor.